Legend isn't given, it's earned every single day. Some people wait for opportunity, but legends create it. They show up when no one's watching. They do the hard things repeatedly. And it's in those daily choices, those small rituals, that greatness is forged. Today, I'm going to break down the 5 things he did every single day that made him legendary, so you can start building your legacy right here, right now. Let me tell you something. Legends, they don't wait for the world to hand them a break. They get up when the world is still sleeping. They grind when no one's watching. They prepare like their life depends on it, because it does. You want to be legendary, you need to do what most people won't. You need to prepare, not for applause, not for recognition, but for the moment when opportunity knocks and you're ready to answer with fire. Every legend I've ever studied, every story you've ever admired, it starts with preparation. That's the quiet work. That's the work nobody sees. Some mornings he was up at 4, coffee in hand, scripts spread across the kitchen table, reading every line, analyzing every word. Not because anyone told him to, but because he refused to let chance decide his fate. You want to know the truth? Preparation is silent power, and it compounds. It's the small hours in the library, the extra line rehearsed before bed, the extra mile run while the rest of the world hits snooze. Day by day, those small efforts build mountains. I remember reading about how he took a role in Training Day. Most people would have been satisfied with memorizing lines and showing up on set. Not him. No. He immersed himself in the life of real detectives. He studied their routines, their struggles, their language, the way they walked, the way they carried themselves. He was in the streets, he was in the books, he was in the mind of someone else's life, all to make sure that when cameras rolled, he didn't just act, he became. That's the power of preparation meeting opportunity. That's how ordinary turns into extraordinary. You want a practical takeaway? Here it is, pick one thing every single day to master. One skill, one habit, one aspect of your craft. Read a chapter, run an extra mile. Practice that conversation, rehearse that pitch. Don't wait for motivation. Motivation is fleeting. Discipline is permanent. Make preparation non-negotiable. Make it sacred. Treat it like oxygen, because without it, even the greatest ideas die in the dark. And here's something else. Don't confuse preparation with perfection. He failed often. Oh yes, he stumbled, he missed lines, he flopped in front of the camera. But preparation softened the blow. Preparation gave him the tools to rise again, stronger, sharper, and smarter. That's the lesson. Every time you prepare relentlessly, you reduce the chance of failure and increase the probability of greatness. Every time you choose to show up when no one else does, you're building a foundation no one can shake. So, I ask you, what are you preparing for? The world doesn't hand out trophies. It doesn't give a damn if you're talented or passionate. Opportunity will come knocking, but it only rewards those who have done the work, who have sweated in silence, who have honed their craft like a weapon. Today, start small. Start consistent. Start now. Prepare like your life depends on it, because your legacy does. Discipline. That's the word that separates those who talk about their dreams from those who live them. Let me be real with you. Discipline isn't glamorous. It doesn't get likes. It doesn't get applause. It's the early mornings when the rest of the world is sleeping. It's the late nights when everyone else has given up. It's showing up day after day, even when your body screams rest, even when your mind whispers why bother. That's what makes ordinary men extraordinary. That's what makes legends. He didn't wait for inspiration. He didn't wait for a mood or a sign. He set a schedule and stuck to it. Rain or shine, it didn't matter. Every day, he followed a regimen, script reading in the quiet hours, workouts that pushed his body to the limit, meditation that trained his mind. Every day, he made the small, unglamorous choices that built unshakable strength. And you know what? That's where the magic happens. Consistency builds trust. Consistency builds mastery. Consistency builds respect. People remember those who show up, not those who talk about showing up. I remember a story from early in his career. He had a film role that paid nothing, no recognition, nothing. Most people would have shrugged, gone home, saved their energy for something better. Not him. He treated that role like it was an Oscar-winning performance. He rehearsed every line, studied every nuance, worked on the character long after the director left, and years later, that same attention to discipline and detail became the foundation for every performance he gave. Discipline compounds. Discipline multiplies. Here's the truth. You are the sum of the people you spend the most time with. If you're around lazy habits, half-hearted effort, and excuses, that's what you become. But if you surround yourself with people who grind, who push, who refuse to settle, and then outwork them, that's when transformation happens. That's when discipline moves from a habit into a lifestyle. So how do you practice it today? Start simple. Pick one thing and commit to it every single day. Show up even when you don't feel like it. Work harder than the person next to you. Study more. Train more. Sweat more. And yes, there will be pain. There will be fatigue. There will be moments when you question yourself. That's the point. The world rewards those who endure, those who persist, those who refuse to negotiate with excuses. And remember, discipline isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about doing the work again and again until it becomes who you are. When you practice this kind of unwavering discipline, doors open, opportunities appear, trust is earned, mastery is built, and respect, that comes naturally. You don't wait for greatness. You discipline yourself into it day after day until there's no other option but to rise. Let me tell you something about fear. Fear is normal. Fear is human. But here's the thing. Legends don't let it stop them. They feel it. They stare it in the face. And then they step forward anyway. You think greatness comes from comfort? No. Comfort is a trap. Safety is a cage. Growth, success, legacy, they live on the other side of fear. And if you want to leave your mark, you have to learn to walk through that fire every single day. He didn't pick roles because they were easy. He picked them because they scared him, because they demanded everything he had and then some. Every challenging script, every complex character was an opportunity to test himself, to see how far he could push. And let me be clear, fear never went away. He felt it. He doubted himself. He questioned whether he was ready. But he didn't wait for courage to magically appear. Courage is a muscle. You train it by doing what scares you. Think about that role in Fences, a play that demanded raw emotion, unrelenting honesty, a deep dive into pain, struggle, and resilience. Most would have turned away, worried about failure or public opinion. But he leaned in. He gave himself fully to the work. And what happened? History remembers him. Audiences remember him. Awards remember him. That's what happens when you risk fear. That's what happens when you refuse to settle for comfort and choose growth instead. Here's the lesson for you. You don't have to be fearless, but you must be willing to act in spite of fear. Every time you say yes to what scares you, speaking in front of a crowd, starting that business, asking for that opportunity, taking that leap, you build strength, you expand your limits, you rewrite your story. And it's not just about big leaps. Risk shows up in the small moments too. Maybe it's taking the hard conversation instead of avoiding it. Maybe it's pitching your idea when everyone else says wait. Maybe it's stepping up when failure feels safer than trying. Each time you lean into that fear, you're stretching the edge of what's possible. Remember this, the world rewards those who move first, those who dare to challenge themselves, those who refuse to play small. Fear will always be there. Doubt will always knock. But legends, they don't hide. They don't wait. They feel the fear, they acknowledge it, and then they act anyway. Step into your fear. Test your limits. Challenge yourself daily. That's where transformation begins. That's where opportunity finds you. That's where you go from ordinary to unforgettable. Let me tell you something. If all you do is climb, if all you do is chase success for yourself, you're missing the point. True greatness isn't selfish. True greatness isn't measured by awards or money or titles. It's measured by the lives you touch, the people you lift, the doors you open for others while you climb your own mountain. That's what separates someone who is successful from someone who is legendary. He knew this from early on. He understood that legacy isn't just what you achieve, it's what you pass on. Mentoring young actors, speaking to communities, encouraging someone else when they thought they didn't belong, that was part of his daily practice. He lifted others while he built himself, and that's why his influence is exponential. Every person he inspired, every hand he extended multiplied his impact far beyond what any award could ever measure. I remember hearing a story about a young actor just starting out, trembling in front of a casting director, unsure of himself, almost ready to quit. He didn't just nod or give advice, he took time. He shared his story, his struggles, the failures that almost broke him, and the lessons that made him strong. That young actor left with more than confidence. He left with a blueprint, a model for perseverance, a reason to keep going. That's the kind of mentorship that lasts a lifetime. That's how legends plant seeds. Here's the truth: helping others succeed multiplies your own success. You can't hoard knowledge. You can't climb a ladder and kick it away behind you. Every act of guidance, every bit of encouragement, every door you open for someone else strengthens your own foundation. Think about it. Mentorship isn't a one-way street. You teach, you inspire, you guide, and in return, you gain perspective, gratitude, and networks you could never build alone. And it's not always about grand gestures. Sometimes it's just showing up to listen, showing up to encourage, showing up to challenge someone to be better than they think they can be. A phone call, a note, a kind word at the right moment. These small acts create ripples that last generations. Actionable lesson: start giving back today. Identify one person you can lift, one skill you can share, one insight you can pass on. Don't wait for perfect timing. Don't wait for recognition. Your impact grows every time you choose to elevate someone else. Mentorship is a daily practice. Giving back is a mindset. And when you combine the two with your own relentless drive, you don't just succeed, you create a legacy that survives long after you're gone. Legends don't just rise, they rise and they pull others up with them. They transform communities, industries, lives. And that's the power of generosity, the power of mentorship, the power of giving back while you climb. Every action, every word, every moment invested in someone else compounds into something far greater than yourself, far greater than success. That's how you become unforgettable. Here's the thing about life: it will hit you hard. It doesn't care if you're ready, if you're strong, if you've planned. Failure comes knocking. Critics shout. Doors close in your face. The question isn't if the storm will come. It's whether you have a foundation deep enough to stand when it does. Every legend I know, every person history remembers, has something in common: an unshakable faith in themselves and a purpose bigger than themselves. That's what carries you through when everything else wants to break you. He had a why, a reason every single day to show up, to push, to keep fighting. Not fame, not money, purpose. Faith, belief. That bigger mission guided him through long nights, grueling rehearsals, rejection and doubt. He believed that what he did mattered, not just for him, but for others. That belief became his compass. And let me tell you, when your compass is true, storms don't scatter you, they refine you. I remember reading about his early career: roles that didn't pay, critics that didn't understand, opportunities that vanished. Most people would have given up. Most people would have folded under the pressure. But he held on. He reminded himself every morning, this is bigger than me. I'm here to inspire. I'm here to uplift. I'm here to be excellent, not for applause, but because excellence is a responsibility. That kind of mindset turns setbacks into stepping stones. It turns doubt into fuel. It turns life's punches into lessons. Faith doesn't mean you never feel fear. Purpose doesn't mean you never stumble. It means that even when the lights dim and the world questions you, you rise anyway. You show up when no one is watching. You grind when the applause hasn't arrived yet. You do the work because it's what your life is calling you to do. That's the difference between temporary success and lasting legend. Here's the takeaway: find your bigger why. Connect with it every single day. Write it down. Speak it aloud. Let it remind you when the road is rough, when doors slam, when doubt creeps in. Surround yourself with people who encourage that purpose, who hold the mirror to your mission, who challenge you to rise higher. Faith and purpose are muscles. They grow stronger every time you exercise them. And remember, it's not just about surviving the storm, it's about dancing in it. Purpose gives you joy in the struggle. Faith gives you courage to take the next step, even when the path is unclear. The world will test you. Life will demand more than you think you have. But when your foundation is anchored in something bigger than fear, bigger than failure, bigger than yourself, you don't just endure, you inspire, you rise. You become immortal, not because of what the world says, but because of what you leave behind in the hearts of others. Let me be blunt with you. Legends aren't born. Legends aren't made overnight. They're forged. They're built day by day, choice by choice, moment by moment. Every small decision matters. Every habit, every effort, every refusal to quit compounds into something bigger than yourself. And the moment you decide that you're not waiting for permission, that you're not waiting for the world to hand you greatness, that's the moment your life starts to change. Show up. That's step one. Don't wait for inspiration. Don't wait for motivation to drop from the sky like manna. Show up when no one is watching. Show up when the odds are against you. Show up when your body aches, your mind is tired, and the world seems asleep. Because it's in showing up consistently that character is built. That's how trust is earned. That's how mastery begins. Prepare relentlessly. You want to rise above mediocrity. You have to put in the hours, read the extra page, study the extra chapter, rehearse the extra line, run the extra mile. Greatness isn't a lucky accident. It's the accumulation of preparation, invisible to the eye, unstoppable in effect. Opportunity favors the prepared. And the moment it knocks, you want to be ready to answer with fire. Discipline yourself. Discipline isn't glamorous. It doesn't show up in headlines, but it's everything. Discipline is doing what you don't feel like doing because you know it's necessary. Discipline is persistence when the applause hasn't arrived. Discipline is the quiet heartbeat behind every great story. If you master discipline, you master the art of showing up even when no one else would. Take risks. Lean into the fear that whispers stop. Growth doesn't live in safety. Comfort is a cage. When you step forward despite doubt, despite uncertainty, despite the naysayers, that's where transformation happens. The moment you risk, the moment you challenge yourself beyond your limits, that's when ordinary becomes extraordinary. Lift others. Your legacy isn't just what you achieve, it's what you leave behind in the lives of others. Teach, mentor, encourage, open doors, share knowledge, give guidance. The people you help rise become a force that multiplies your own impact. Generosity isn't optional, it's essential. It's what turns success into significance. Trust your purpose. Connect with a mission bigger than yourself. Anchor your days in it. Let it guide every decision, every action, every step forward. Life will test you. Critics will roar, challenges will rise. But when your foundation is anchored in faith, belief, and purpose, nothing can shake you. You endure, you rise, you inspire. Start today. Not tomorrow, not when the timing is perfect, not when the world gives you permission. Today. Your legacy isn't built in grand gestures. It's built in small, relentless choices. It's built in the preparation you do in silence. It's built in the discipline you practice when no one's watching. It's built in the risks you take, the people you lift, and the purpose you honor every single day. You have one life, one shot, one chance to leave something behind that matters. So rise, start, persist, and let your life become legendary.